We got to get the F up out of here. But I did have this, I wanted to talk about Umar Johnson and his rhetoric about, dating non-black women. Um, he's a Pan-African. What is he called? Brother Pan-African. Something he be saying about himself. I don't know. But he was on Joe Budden's podcast. Hold on. Let me get the fuck up out of this place. So he was on Joe Budden's podcast, and he's always talking about, snow bunnies and, you know, um, black men dating non-black women, and he's very critical about that. He goes on to say, that black men are the most male group who dates outside of their race, while black women are the least likely. It's so funny how black men are the most likely to date out their race out of all male groups globally, and black women out of all women groups. What was that? Oh, a pen. They don't date out. They're the least likely to date out. So you're like chasing after a group of people who may or may not be even checking for you, and you're like literally restricting yourself to that group of people. But that's another story for another day. But oftentimes when we hear about black women and black men who say they only date black people, when you listen to the reasonings of why that is, you will find that a lot of the reason for wanting to be with a black person wanting to be with black person, or him, like, he always mentions struggling. And to me, I think it's very harmful messaging that the only way you can be even sexually attracted to another human being is that they need to be the same race as you because they understand the struggle. So I want you to listen to what he said and why the message is harmful, and leads black women into a space that is unhealthy and dangerous. Because if you're telling a woman, limit yourself to these men because they understand your struggle, but in reality, do black men really understand black women's struggle? Do the large majority of them who will be able to relate to the struggle of a black woman in this society? Is that true? All right, so let's listen to what he says.
You mixed race? No. Or you're a bunny hopper? Yes. That's why you have a liberal perspective. That's not true. Because you go home. That's not true.
Okay, let's listen.
You mixed race? No. Or you're a bunny hopper? Yes. That's why you have a liberal perspective. Because you go home to a white woman.
But that's not true. I felt this way before I met my white girlfriend.
Although your white girlfriend and possibly none of her family owned the slaves.
They're from Portugal.
Although the Portuguese were some of the first ones in the slave trade.
The very
they built most of the dungeons in Africa. So I know she got racism in her veins because of the Portuguese role in the slave trade. Let's say her family built from all of that. What's not fair? It was the first ones in the shit. Fuck out of here. White Portuguese bloodline. This girl, it was the Portuguese 1400 states built the first fucking dungeons.
I'm gonna crack them.
No, you're not, because you're bunny hopping. The reason you have no business being with a Caucasian woman is although she nor her family may have participated in our oppression directly, she benefits from it.
Should we have that same disdain for the Africans that sold us into the slave trade?
That's a great question. You mixed race?
No.
Or you're a bunny hopper?
Yes.
That's why.
All right. Can I turn? It doesn't say no turn on red. It didn't say no turn on red, girl. So I basically said that to suggest that you have to be with a black person simply because they know struggle is the worst primary connection between two people. It's historical trauma that connects you. That's tragic. If historical trauma is what connects you and is motivating you to stay with your race, that's not a good board to jump off of. That's actually not a great foundation to lay your relationship on, or the reason why you're with somebody. I'm with this black man because he understands my struggle. Does he, sis? Does he understand your struggle? You better think about that one again. But, you know, the interracial dating, like, I don't understand. I mean, unfortunately, black women don't date out as often as the counterparts do, right? They're not your counterparts. You know, I'm using that just for the sake of language, but they're honestly not your counterparts. You are not designed to be with black men. That is not how you're here to do. That's not what is. I don't even know how to say what I'm trying to say, but it's just not like your existence is not for black men. You can be with other men. Other men enjoy black women. Do not allow black men who want you to stay posted, waiting for them till they're done, right? Waiting for them to get accused of DV, Jonathan Majors, right? You don't have no. He's dating out. He's doing his thing. He's dating out to also. He's also dating. I'm using Jonathan Majors as an example. He's dating out, but then wants this white girl to behave like a black woman. So you know the mentality of him being with her is strictly for her proximity to whiteness. That's it. But when the damn shoe drops, he has to go get him a black woman to support him throughout his trial with this white woman who has accused him of being violent with her and who he was convicted of being violent with her. Not just accused. We're not going to, make Emmett Till twitch in his grave, because y'all always call on Emmett Till, a 14-year-old who was falsely accused by an adult woman. You are an adult man in a relationship with a white woman. You know good and goddamn well the historical context behind that. A child doesn't understand, oh, this woman can lie on me and it can mean my life. You're a grown-ass man who knows that somebody has the potential and could lie on you. But in this case, she wasn't lying. He was convicted. Okay? A jury of his peers convicted him. But there's Megan Good waiting in the wings, not only as a side chick. Girl, if you a black woman, you better not be no side bitch to a nigga who's dating a non-black woman. That's crazy as hell. As a matter of fact, I know a man who was in a relationship with a non-black woman and his side bitches were all black women, a black man. So you're going to take second best? You're going to take being second just to get you a black man, girl? Are you serious right now? I think it's a weak foundation to build your relationship on struggle. And how often do we as women how often do we talk about these relationships resembling struggle? Like black love is equivalent to struggle love. And that's the pulse of it all. Right? Yesterday I watched a film. Was it on Netflix or Hulu? I don't know. It was called Miss Juneteenth. And it was about this black woman in a relationship with her child's father. Her daughter is a teenager, and she was a pageant winner, and did not go on to do great things. Stayed in her neighborhood, stayed connected to this man who was in and out of jail, who really didn't have the money to support her. She was sidestepping the funeral director who he had money, and he kept telling her, listen, you don't even have to live like this. You are our town's beauty queen, and you haven't done anything with your life. You're not doing nothing, and you're running around after this man in this struggle love story. And she even says, I want my daughter to grow up with both of her parents. And he's telling her, girl, you don't have to live like this. The way you live in, you don't have to live like this. He turned up in jail. She go down to the jail. She looking at him through glass, and he's like, I just need this money to get me out of jail. But she also needs the money to buy her daughter a dress, because she's putting her daughter in the same pageant that she was in so that she can get a scholarship to an HBCU. But no, she wanted to run around after this motherfucking man and be in this struggle love story with this man who has no ambition, no drive, no foresight, And then literally another man is telling her, you know I want to be with you. You don't have to live like this. I can take care of you. You don't have to work as hard. You're going to have to work. But you're not going to have to work as hard, working 2 and 3 jobs, just to make sure that your daughter shows up in this pageant with the dress not from the thrift store. Because that's the dress you want in. How often do we have these conversations? And then you have these people enforcing the oppressed women's network, OWN network, the stories that they choose to tell, and how often the woman seems to be getting the short end of the stick, and yet and still y'all are tethered to these men. Do they understand your struggle? Do they, like, ask yourself, do they really the way that you see these people, these men, how they relate to women, not just in intimate partnerships, at work, friends, family, do they understand your struggle? Oh, I want a black baby. If you don't go find you a Pakistani or a Punjabi or somebody to go give you the complexion you're looking for, girl, you better be over there like Mariah, Blackadeshi, okay, and get you a brown man. You don't need to be with a black man just so you can have a black baby, girl. Like I said, y'all be like, and then again, you have these enforcers and these people who are like, black love, black love, black love. I had to tell a man the other day, there's no such thing as black love. There's just love. There's just love. And when you look at this, what are you doing? Are you going to turn? Oh, I think he's looking at this man on this bike on his cell phone. This man riding a bike with one hand and his cell phone in the other. So my thing is, what was I saying? Train of thought. Blackadeshi. Oh, I forgot what I was saying. But anyways, at the end of the day, oh yeah, the black love thing. This thing promoting black love, that is to keep you tethered to a group of men. And honestly, I don't care, you guys. Honestly, if I were a woman looking for a man, I would not choose from the pool of men who, on average and generally speaking, they don't like to be generalized, but when the most of them is doing the damage, then we're going to generalize, because it's not enough to balance out. It's not enough to balance out. So we're going to make a general statement. And if I was a woman looking to be in partnership with a man, I would not choose from a pool of men who on every social grade, they are failing. They are failing. And you are subjecting yourself and dating only exclusively because this other man won't get your struggle. Girl, what? That's your motivation? Or I want my baby to be black. Girl, if that's your motivation, that is like literally, what do they call it? I forgot what they call it. Girl, you better find you a man and if you want to get with a man, if that's your ministry and your goal is to partner and to be in relationship with a man and to get married and to live happily ever after, right? Over the hill and through the woods and all that shit, then you should not be limiting yourself. I use this analogy all the time. When it's time to go look for a job, yes, and I'm equating looking for a job and using the analogy of looking for a job to looking for a partner. But when you go look for a job, do you just put in your application at one place? One place? Or do you put your application in multiple places to make the odds in your favor? Right now, the odds are not in your favor, because not only is this group of men 2 million less than you, if we were to count them one for one, there still wouldn't be enough men, black men, for you all to choose from. Now, when I say for every black man, there's more than enough black women. So that's already telling you that not only are you picking from a pool that is already lacking, but now these men, okay, first this is the pool that I have. Now I'm going to eliminate who doesn't meet my standards. right? Because now you got, okay, now I'm only going to date black guys. So now here's my group of black guys. But I have a degree. I'm certified. I own a home. I have a business. So now I need to find somebody who's going to meet my standards. So, you know, first of all, there's 2 million men less than that. Then you got to account for the men in jail. Then you got to account for the men who are gay. Then you have to account for the men who are bisexual, because y'all don't like bisexual men. Because at the base level, y'all really don't like men. That's why you don't want a man who sleeps with other men, because you don't like men. But that's a different conversation for a different day. That's at the base level, at the core of that, you don't like men. Because if you don't have a problem with sleeping with men, then another man sleeping with a man, you shouldn't have a problem with him. What's the problem? What's the problem? If he likes dick like you like dick, he's bisexual. Okay, well, I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to go down that road. Okay, so now I'm getting rid of everybody. First of all, it's 2 million men less than. Jail, gay, DL, bisexual. Okay? Then educated. Then homeowner. Then gainfully employed. Your pool of men is getting smaller and smaller. Millions of black, race loyal black women. Do you see? Now, to me, I feel like now I'm talking to some goofies, because if you don't understand the math, the simple math that tells you there's not enough of them to go around, and the pool that's left, now you're like, okay, so now I want a black man who is a high earner. Now you got to deal with his narcissistic personality traits. Not to say he's been diagnosed, but he's a male under this system of patriarchy who has money, and he knows if he has a little money, his pool of women is very large, because women are looking for what? Security and stability. So as your pool of men get fewer and fewer and fewer, and as intimate partner violence rates shoot through the goddamn atmosphere, you're still looking to this group of men as potential partners. I'm starting to feel like I'm dealing with some mental illness. Delusions. I'm done talking about it. I do not think that you should base the foundation of your partnering on struggle and historical trauma. That's a wrong road. Yes, while you may find a man, there are non-black people who want to get with black people simply out of a fetish. But when you tell me that you only date black men because of this and this and ooh, the way they look, it's giving fetish. It's giving you have a fetish too. How can you fetishize your own race? Y'all do every single day. Y'all know how these men show up, and yet and still you slobber at the mouth. Drool just starts coming out of your mouth at the sight, ooh, girl, of a black man, honey. Ooh, yes. That is a fetishizing of a black man. But they like to be objectified and fetishized, because that positions them as the prize in this whole thing. Y'all don't even, if y'all don't see how all of this shit comes together. So ladies, do not base your partnering practices on struggle, on historical trauma. Open your options. If that is what you want, do not limit yourself to a pool of men who on every credit card, what is it called? Report card. On every report card, they're getting D's and F's. And you over here getting A's and B's, girl. Why do you want to deal with somebody with a below grade average and you're over here excelling? Why? Tell me why, and then we can talk. But only a fool will put their application into one place in hopes of finding a job. I'm going to put my application in with the Latin men, with the now please understand me. Don't go to another group of men and put them on a pedestal, because they're still men. Yes, all men. So they're still all programmed under a system of patriarchy, all of them. And hopefully you can find you a man who doesn't reject his feminine and is in alignment with his feminine energy, because he'd probably be more suitable for partnership. If you're with a man who rejects the feminine, who has an aversion to a feminine, some of you have aversion to the feminine and you don't even realize it. You hate to see a man exhibit feminine qualities. And is it like lifting a mirror up to your face? What about a man being feminine bothers you? That's some self-work that y'all have to do, because it is a rejection of the feminine. If you are with a man who rejects the feminine and has latent misogynoir, or has this aversion to the feminine or to people acting feminine, or this is this and this, they don't want their children to be ladybugs for Halloween, Peter Guns, because that's gay. That their aversion to homosexuality is the aversion of the feminine. At the end of the day, I don't like that feminine shit. I don't like that feminine shit. It's anti-woman at the end of the day, anti-female at the end of the day. So if you're going to find you a man, go to the Latin men, the Asian men, Pacific Islanders, Southeast Asians, who else is there? Italians, open your options, girls, and you will see. Don't fall in line with these men that only date black women. They fetishize black women. Don't do that. Right? Don't find you one like Tamar who acts just like black men, who act the same goddamn way. Oh, they got swag, honey. No. Okay? If you find you a man, you want to make sure that he is in touch with his feminine, because that's really the only way that it's going to balance out. If he doesn't have an aversion to femininity, you'll be good. But don't restrict yourselves, and work on releasing the idea that the only reason you want to partner with a black man is because he understands your struggle. Girl, does he? That's the question. Does this man really understand a black woman's quote unquote struggle? Because like I've said 1,000 times, black women, when I was a little girl, I remember black women being referred to as welfare queens. I remember it. I was a little girl. And now I'm a grown-ass woman with kids, and the social image of women has changed to the most educated. Black women are like, oh no, bitch, you ain't gonna be able to call us welfare queens. We're not playing that game with you. Because in real life, white women are the most women on welfare. Okay? Let's just get that, let's just erase that trope out of here. So we're not gonna let you continue to call us that. So we've gone from welfare queens to the largest entrepreneurial group in the United States, to the most educated group in the United States, most enrolled in college in the United States, whether it creates debt or not. I don't give a damn what a nigga says. Oh, you guys got debt. I don't give a fuck. You got your degrees and everything else. And any man that poo-poos on education or increasing your level of knowledge in whatever field you're in, throw his ass away. These niggas that want to keep you in a position that makes you center them, throw their asses away. Oh, I want a traditional wife. Throw his ass away. Because you got things to do. You don't need no mud on your wings. These men have not changed their social image in the length of time that women under a patriarchy, my dear, with no help, no allyship from black men, none. It's when and you might be, oh, I was there, I was helping. It's not enough. So without the allyship from your so-called counterparts, black women have effectively changed their social image. Effectively. To where corporations are investing in you. Corporations weren't investing in black women in the 80s when they was calling them welfare queens. But now that your entire social image have changed. And you know why? Because y'all took responsibility and accountability and went to school, got your certifications, women going back to college, getting their degrees so that they can exceed in whatever field they're in. TD Jakes is down there saying that you were mean and hateful and all these things that he aligns with masculinity in order for you to exceed at the corporate. But we're losing our families. We're losing you mules. You guys are not being mules for us anymore. We need y'all to be mules again. We need y'all to be maids again. We need y'all to lay on your backs for us. And y'all not. But when it comes to romantic partnerships, you're still limiting yourself to the group of men who were not your allies as you changed your social image. Whose fault is it that when a black man is walking down the street that you cross the other way as a black woman? Because their social image hasn't changed. Oh, they do us this way. No, change your social image. It's not our fault, and it's not going to come from the labor of black women to change the social image of black men. That is on them. That's a mule will help them, but you can't help them when they don't feel like anything is wrong, when they're not going to get their mental health checked out. This is a group of men you're limiting yourselves to. I don't know what else to say. But that if you are limiting yourself to a group of people who have not changed their social image in 40 years and more, girl, what are you doing? Snap the fuck out of it. Honestly. Okay, I gotta go. Me and my sons are going to breakfast this morning. I gotta go. Happy Friday. Take care of each other. Protect your energy. Let's get down in the comments.